Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the SPEED Xfinty Series presented by the Gold Octopus. For tonight's race, it's the Gold Octopus 90 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Joining me as always for tonight's race is Joe Annunziata. And Joe, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a very fun track, a flat track, and incredibly difficult to get around.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. It's looks like a beautiful race day. We got 90 laps. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, 80 degrees is the ambient temperature with some partly cloudy skies. Only 4-mile-an-hour winds, so not really going to get a big push through any of the corners or down any of the straightaways. And a couple things to watch out for tonight. Go easy on the throttle. Flat track means not a lot of banking and a very good chance for drivers to spin up the tires on exit, could get it turned around, and that's going to spell disaster for your race if you're not able to keep the tires cool. Another question you're going to have to ask yourself, are you going to shift? Longer runs, the car is going to get bogged down in RPMs. Maybe you're going to want to drop it down to third midway through the corner. If not, keep it in fourth. Might be a little slower off the corner, but you'll wind up saving your tires because tires are going to be incredibly important to get that good drive off of any corner to hopefully pick up some spots around your competitors.
Now, with this being such a flat track, what are we talking about here for pit stops?
Well, as for pit stops, if we take a look here at the schedule for tonight's season, that this race is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, so the sun will be, pretty high up in the sky. Only 65% fuel, so we are going to see a couple of pit stops during the race. Probably, I would assume drivers are going to start looking about halfway, give or take, just to kind of get some tires on and everything like that. Have not quite seen anything fuel mileage wise from these drivers, so it could be interesting to see when drivers decide to pit versus stay out. But if a yellow comes out, these guys are all going to come out and grab tires.
That makes sense.
We'll take a quick look here at the SPEED Xfinty Series point standings after last week in Auto Club. Nicholas Cody has a 16-point lead over Martin Plute. Evan Williams in third. Stephen Kirby fourth. Sedaris Diaz there in fifth. And the list goes on. Very, very tight points battles between a lot of these drivers. Kirby over Diaz by 1 point. Diaz over Chris Darling by 2, who's tied with Kyle Ritchie in seventh. So it's going to be a very interesting points battle as this race goes on. Season-long points, no playoffs, nothing like that, just straight heads-up racing, and definitely a lot of interesting moments out there on the track. Tonight's race is brought to you by our friends at the Gold Octopus. Make sure you check them out on Etsy. They've got a huge selection of home goods and handmade decorations ranging from custom paintings, terrariums, macram planters. I was looking at them a little bit earlier on Etsy before the broadcast, and that stuff looks so cool. A lot of the polished stones. I saw a couple like lapis lazuli, looked like bracelets and that kind of stuff. Super cool. You have to check them out on Etsy. You can also follow them on Instagram and Twitter, and it's literally the perfect gift for anyone special in your life. So make sure you check them out, the Gold Octopus, over on Etsy.
Not me on there. Definitely not.
But so far, 3.5 minutes left here in practice. Richard Reagan is our leader so far on track with a 30.62. This is Ethan Amberg that we're following along right now. Amberg currently in sixth with a 3.83. Oh, looks like Diaz had a little bit of an incident here. There's a 12 just coming out of the corner. A little too much gas. A couple other drivers spinning around as well. That's the 97 going across your screen. And that's exactly what we were saying in the beginning, Joe. Watch your gas coming out of the corner. It's so easy to spin up the tires and you'll find yourself in that inside wall in a hurry.
Yeah, I've been watching these guys going through practice, and a lot of them are spinning right out the tail end.
So this is our sponsor for tonight's race, Garrett Austin in the 34 Gold Octopus machine. Currently 9th on the speed charts with a 31 flat. Ryan Newman in the chat over on YouTube says Garrett Austin is due for a win here. Let's go, the Gold Octopus Motorsports. Or Octorsports, as apparently I was trying to say. But some fantastic racing we are in store for tonight. Big special thanks to our friends at Track Cams for Gourmets, providing these incredible camera angles you're going to be seeing all night long. Tonight's race is, of course, the Gold Octopus 90 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Race also brought to you by our friends at Aces Axes. You can check them out on YouTube as well as Instagram. Denton County Carpet Cleaning. Mark's Pizzeria, simply the best since 1982. And our friends at the Sim Wrap Guy. Any iRacing paint schemes you need, make sure you reach out to Chris and his crew at Sim Wrap Guy, and they'll get you looking real nice out there on the track. So, less than a minute left here in practice. Garrett Austin taking a little shortcut around the road course there. Here's Ryan Shelton. Shelton, P2 on the speed charts. Still 2/10 behind Richard Reagan. Real important there just to drive in super deep in the corner, try to get as much power as you can down on the car, and just have to watch out for spinning the tires on corner exit.
Yeah, if practice is saying anything, this is going to be an eventful race.
That is for sure, as Reese Bogue goes up to P3 on the chart with a 30.6. Qualifying here tonight, just about ready to get underway. As we take a little view from this from the spotter stand. Always fun to see where the spotter's located out on track, just to kind of get an eye on, okay, so that's what their spotters are seeing in real life. So we're going to get ourselves ready to go here for qualifying. There's a couple of drivers jumping out right now. Looks like Ryan Shelton, one of the first. Martin Plute as well.
You know, I always wondered, or I always thought that the spotters were just in the middle. Never thought they'd be outside.
Oh yeah, they're on top of the roof of the press box at the highest point possible, just so they could see the entirety of the track without having to stand around and spin around in circles like a dog chasing its tail.
Yeah, no, really thought. In my mind, they were on like those big fishing chairs, like the fishing boat chairs, that was just automated, like to spin. That's just what I thought.
God, now I'm picturing. There's a podcast in NASCAR, which if you're a NASCAR fan, you probably already know about this, but Door Bumper Clear with a couple of actual NASCAR spotters, and I am terrified to picture those guys in one of those spinning chairs watching their cars go around the track.
That's really what I thought.
So far, looks like Shelton has the fastest lap so far with a 30.56. Martin Plute here in P5. Let's see if he's able to pick up on his second lap. So far, so good. As Plute crosses the line, does a 30.8 rather. That will be good enough for P5. Bogue heading out on the track right now. And we'll jump on board to give you a full lap around New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Watch for those brake markers up at the screen just past the one. That's where Bogue's going to slow it down right up against the wall. Get the best run he possibly can. We head down the long front straightaway. It's like having two drag strips connected by a corner.
A very short track.
Running right around the middle where you can carry your momentum but still be short enough to the inside of the track. Braking right at the one, letting the car coast up towards the wall, stay within those hash marks. Cut down, looked like Bogue got a little loose. That lap might not be his best as he's going to cross the line. As I say that, that's P1 provisionally. I think Bogue...
3 seconds.
And I think Bogue is saying, you know what? I still have a little bit more to go. A little bobble out of 4. But as you see on your tracker down on the bottom of the screen, that yellow means he was a little slower through the first half of the lap. No bobble this time out of 4. Coming to the line. He's going to do a 30.55, so just a tiny bit slower, but still good enough for P1 provisionally. As he now coasts across the rest of the lap. Looks like Nicholas Cody might be the only driver out on track otherwise. Garrett Austin actually is out on track. Zach Austin in the chat says, let's go, the Gold Octopus Motorsports. Austin. Better run here for his second lap. Green so far in the first half. He's going to cross the line at a 31 flat. So that'll move him up to 11th. As it looks like everyone else is off the track.
Am my eyes deceiving me? Are 3 and 4 the same time?
They are the exact same time down to the 100th of a second between Richard Reagan and Stephen Kirby.
You know, I'm looking 30.610 and then Richard with a 30.611.
Oh, so Kirby gets him by 1/1000th of a second. If they can keep this up throughout the race, this is going to be one heck of a battle all race long.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how these guys are going to line up for tonight's event, the Gold Octopus 90 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As we'll get a camera on one of these drivers out there. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's race. Reese Bogue on pole with a lap time of 30.523. Ryan Shelton on his outside. Stephen Kirby and Richard Reagan Jr. line up in row number 2. Ethan Amberg and Zachary Cox in row 3. Starting 7th is Nicholas Cody, hometown driver, and Chris Darling on his outside. Martin Plute and Evan Williams in row 10. Scott Leonard and Garrett Austin make up row number 6. Stan Hausman and Zach Williams make up row 7. Jason Shu and Sedaris Diaz in row 8. And Tim Branson is going to round out the field in 17th. So 17 drivers out there tonight, and we'll be running 90 laps here at the Magic Mile in New Hampshire.
Super excited for this one.
Yeah, Joe, this is going to be a lot of fun, a tough fight for these drivers because tires are not going to be very happy for anyone out there tonight. So it's going to be fun to see how these drivers can manage the tires, manage the temperature in them, try not to spin coming out of turns 2 or 4, and especially down the front stretch. Someone up front, if they spin out, they could collect one car, which collects the rest of the field, and it could get a little bit hairy, but we'll see as Reese Bogue and Ryan Shelton line up 1-2 behind the pace car. Pace car getting ready to pull in, make their way down pit road. Pace car is off. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing here at New Hampshire. Great start there by both Bogue and Shelton. They're side by side as they dive off into turn number 1. Shelton having a little connection issue, so we'll keep Bogue here in front. Shelton blinking a couple of times.
I see everybody a little wobbly on that first little go of things. I guess everyone's trying to get a little situated.
Definitely just trying to, get some heat in the tires. Could be pretty cold tires going down as Bogue leads lap number 1. We got a good battle here between the 109 of Stephen Kirby and Zachary Cox. And Joe, like you were saying, just kind of everyone taking it easy right now. Trying not to spin the tires, overheat the tires too early. Not a whole lot of grips. Oh, looks like one car got in the wall. That might have been Garrett Austin. But he's going to keep it going in the right direction. We'll stay green. So now we're 3 wide for 13th as Sedaris Diaz has a problem. So he's going to fall back a couple of spots. We'll ride on board with Garrett Austin here as he takes a peek to the inside of the 19 of Scott Leonard. We'll move Austin up to P11.
I know we were talking about it in practice. We see Cox and Shelton 0.01 seconds off of each other. This is going to be...
This is certainly going to be a great battle as we see Kirby trying to work around the 65 of Cox. Can't quite get anything done there. Hamburg just behind these two. This is going to turn into a very, very fun battle as we'll ride on board the back bumper of Kirby. Hamburg takes a peek to the inside, not able to get much going there.
Now, what would you constitute as the passing zones on this track? Because like you said, there's not really a lot of bank to these turns.
Honestly, either getting into the corner, outbraking your opponent, or maybe giving up the entry and then getting a better drive off on exit, as we see Hamburg do exactly that. Hamburg to the inside of Kirby. He's going to get that spot. As he drives off into turn number 1, Kirby's going to have to settle for 6th. That's kind of the best way to make a move there, as we see Evan Williams just running the bottom. Great look there for that 33 machine.
Loving all the paints out here today, by the way.
You know you're in New England when there's a Duncan paint scheme on the racetrack. That's Nicholas Cody, our points leader. It's not in this version of iRacing, but in real life, at least a few years ago, the restart zone on the inside just said "Go Wicked Fast," with a lot of H's with the New England accent.
I love it.
Very cool track. I've been here once before for a NASCAR weekend, and just a lot of fun. Great people. The tailgating was fantastic. Got to do a track walk for the Speedway Children's Charities. Got to walk the track actually with Dick Bergeron, who's an old-time NASCAR broadcaster.
That's awesome.
And Joey Logano was out there too, as this is Logano's home track. Williams gets a little loose down out of turn 2. But that almost helped him, as he's now to the inside of Martin Plout. And a lot of drivers starting to move a little bit higher up on the track, just trying to search for a little bit more grip out there.
Yeah, I noticed that. I see that this is it's not really a dark asphalt. I know our weather is looking like about 80, 81 degrees. What is that coming onto the track temps?
Well, let's take a look here. Well, the track temp right now, 96 degrees, so it's going to be a little warmer. Not a whole lot of grip, but also not, not slippery and slidey like you'd see with 125 plus degree track temp. So, pretty average temperature on track right now, but that's definitely something that could, we could keep an eye out for as this race goes on.
Again, I have another backwards. I thought the hotter the track, the more sticky the tires would be.
No, actually, it's the hotter the track, the slicker it is, just because there's not a whole lot. The tires are going to expand more, so they're going to slip and slide. When it's cold, they have something they can grip onto a little bit better. Similar to if you put your hand in water, it gets kind of pruny, so you can grip on a little bit better. It's just kind of that same concept where it's colder, there's more to grip onto. Warm tires, cold track, a lot of grip. Cold tires, not a lot of grip.
So cold plus cold, bad. Hot plus cold, good. Cold
also
plus
cold
hot,
plus
maybe.
Hot. Yeah.
Hot plus hot, real bad.
Very bad.
I'm learning a lot today.
Oh, you don't know temperature math? Come on now.
Not for tires, no, not at all.
We got a good battle going on in front of these guys. Ethan Amberg to the inside of the 97 of Ryan Shelton. Shelton starting to fall back just a little bit. Luckily, though, his connection issues seem to have subsided for now. Nicholas Cody in there as well, making this a 3-horse race. Good battle going for all of these guys. And everyone just kind of right on top of each other, too.
Yeah, we got a lot of little clusters.
Yeah, just pockets of action all over the racetrack. We'll throw up the track map as well, just to see where your favorite driver is, going by car number. Got a good battle here. We've also got another good battle going on a little bit further back between Garrett Austin and Chris Darling. Darling might have just tagged the wall a little bit, so he's trying to put on a little bit of pressure to chase down Garrett Austin, but I'm sure Austin's sitting there saying, all right, guys, go ahead. Stay 2x2. I'm going to catch up, and I'll join you guys. As looks like Shelton's still having a little bit of a connection problem, but for now, these guys have mostly sorted themselves out. Williams takes a peek to the inside of the 109 of Kirby. Kirby now right on the back bumper of the 81 of Martin Plute. Plute to the inside. Or Kirby, rather, to the inside. Now they're side by side. We'll go right on the front bumper of the 33 of Evan Williams, see what he can do. Williams to the high side. Plute might have just barely scraped the wall.
Love the bumper cam.
You really do get a great sense of speed just to see how fast these guys are running. As we'll throw up the driver info here. 130, 140 miles an hour now down the front stretch. All the way down to just about 90 to roll the corner, roll that speed. It's a difficult car, or a difficult track to really master, just to get your speed up and keep it going there. As Amberg might have just grazed the wall a little bit. as now here comes Shelton to take a peek. No damage, but it looked like he sure as heck got close to that wall.
No harm, no foul. Keep racing.
Cody with a little extra gas. As we'll change that over. We'll get the gap times over on the left-hand side. And you see everyone just kind of right on top of each other right now. This is the best looking battle out on track. But as I say that, looks like we might have ourselves a little battle for the lead. These two guys just kind of checked out between Reagan and Bogue.
They're really up on each other, not really giving them any leeway.
Not at all, as Reagan grabs the wall on the outside of turn 4. Here comes Bogue, though. He's trying to run the high side, drive it down low, get a good drive off the corner. Not able to get anything that time, but look how yawed out sideways they were exiting, too. So here comes Bogue trying to take a peek to the inside. That is for sure. Ryan Newman in the chat says to the Gold Octopus Motorsports guys going after each other for bragging rights for 1 and 2. And that is for sure. These guys are fighting hard, as Cox might have hit the wall there coming between 3 and 4. Let's take a look at that one real quick, because I think Cox might have just grabbed the wall barely. Or if he did, it was certainly close. Cox going up, and no, very close, but did not actually get into it. As we make ourselves back to live action, Bogue still trying to chase down Reagan. As we're just past the quarter mark of this race. Guys have about 65% fuel tanks, so they are certainly going to need to stop. We're right on board this time with Reagan. You can see a little difference in line now that Bogue's trying to just do something, maybe get down to the inside a little bit deeper, cut the corner. Now Bogue tries the high side. Expect him to jump down here, maybe try to get a good run out of 4. He does, he's right there. But can Bogue put the move on Reagan? Still plenty of race to go, but this is going to be one heck of a battle.
Yeah, just all along the track are just fantastic little battles. Everyone's tight. There's really so many places that you could look and just see little pockets of battle.
Yeah, and here comes Bogue to the inside, almost side by side. Bogue not quite able to get it going there. And like Joe mentioned, there's a ton of battles. There's a good battle going on right now from about 6th on back. We'll take a look here at the lap time history for both Reagan and Bogue, and just about even, trading fastest laps, or trading who's faster in each lap. Bogue has been by a little bit these last couple of laps. That's going to update. This time Reagan was 0.03 of a second faster. But a great fight brewing between these two Gold Octopus Motorsports teammates. Let's see what the lap times looked like for these guys this time. Reagan picking up about a 10th this time by, but still just about a car length separates P1 and 2. And right now, if I'm Zachary Cox, I'm sitting there and just saying, all right, maybe these guys will get a little overzealous. Maybe they'll wind up turning into each other. I'll take the lead and maybe drive off into the sunset. Now 60 laps to go.
And with that, we are a third in. I wonder where pitting is going to come in.
You know, that is a very good question. I am not entirely sure. These guys have... Whoa, Bogue gets sideways at a 2. What a save. Still able to keep it going.
Well, that might answer my question.
And I'm interested to see now if these guys are going to be shifting at all. They're keeping it in 4th gear, obviously down the front stretch. But let's see what Reagan does into turn 1. He's just going to keep that one in 4th. I don't think we're quite late enough yet to see any shifting. But I really think that the big key to when you decide to pit is you almost want to wait for the first person to go, and then you'll say, okay, now I think I can make it. But, I mean, we saw last week talking with Martin Plute how he was able to save so much. He wound up coasting at a turn 3 and still winning the race.
Yeah, which is still wild to me. It's completely out of gas and you still coast to a finish.
Here comes Bogue taking a peek to the high side. He may wind up cutting down some lap traffic coming into play now. Bogue all over the back bumper of Reagan. And now Bogue, side by side, contact made.
No love tap.
Just a little, hey, how you doing? I'll take the spot, thanks. And now here comes Reese Bogue. Bogue to the inside. They're still battling. Door handle to door handle. Drag race to the line. Looks like Reagan has it this time by.
Trying to see what they're having for dinner.
Great move there by the 35 machine of Zach Williams. Just to say, hey, you guys are racing. I'll get out of your way. This is going to be a fun one to watch. We'll take a look here at the front nose camera here for Geo4. Good drive out of the corner. Just a matter of inches between these two drivers. And this fight has been going on the entire race.
I don't expect it to lighten up.
Especially at the pace these guys are going. A lot of fighting going on here. And this fight is just too good. We can't look away from it. I wish I had the ability to do a little double box action. But I'm not about to pay for a second iRacing account. It's 35 grabs the wall. Coming out of 4. He's going to let Cox go by. Deus, the next driver to fall to the clutches of the leaders. While this battle rages on, there's another good battle here for 6th. We'll pick up this one between Ethan Amberg and the 109 of Stephen Kirby. Amberg has it, Kirby wants it.
It's been a fantastic race so far.
And the thing is, it's all been clean. There's not been anything, wild and crazy. No one making any, any silly moves or anything like that.
Yeah, which is crazy because if you go by practice, I thought these guys would be all over the place.
You know what? I completely agree because we saw a lot of spins coming out of the corner. Everyone just trying to say, okay, I found the line. This is as far as I want to take it. And we've got ourselves another battle for position. They're side by side for the lead, heading down the back straightaway. Bogue takes a peek to the inside. He's got his nose in there. He's going to slide up the track. Reagan gets pushed up wide. They're going to drag race again, but the top side is going to have more momentum yet another time.
Yeah, and what's again interesting, 40 laps in, who's going to be the first pit?
Well, as you say that, Zach Williams is heading down pit road, as is Stan Hausman. So Hausman looks like is going to be the first to blink. But if he did 40 laps, I don't know if he's going to make it the rest of the way without another caution.
Unless they're trying to, they think they got fuel in the tank, but they're going to try to outrun it. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but he's still down on pit road. Same with Williams. We'll pick up this battle for the lead yet again. Williams got a lot of damage repaired. Looks like Hausman down in the way, 4 tires and fuel. Oh, Ryan Shelton and Nick Cody heading down pit road. So now we are going to start seeing a couple of takers. Evan Williams pits as well. Cody finds his box. Williams is there as well. Williams into his box as well. Meanwhile, this battle still raging on. Here comes Bogue to the inside. Reese Bogue trying to make the move. He's got his nose on him, but I think Reagan is going to have a better drive out of the corner. Bogue is right there. Plute and Darling both head down pit road. But I think these leaders are just having too much fun side-by-side battling it out.
Yeah. I wonder if they're trying to hit like 50 laps just to make sure they'll be able to go hard at the end.
If they can. I mean, I would definitely say once you make it past halfway, if you can make it past halfway on fuel, you're good to go. And with the way these guys have been racing each other, honestly, I'm shocked they're able to make it this far.
Yeah.
Both Bogue and Reagan still fighting this one out. Zach Williams starting to actually drive away from those two as we jump on board with him to see those two fight out. So there goes Bogue to the outside. Bogue just rolling the top side. You can see the difference in fresh tires versus old tires as here comes the 97 to Shelton to get around him. Ethan Amberg decides to pit. So these drivers all make it past halfway. In theory, they should be able to make it the rest of the way without stopping.
Right.
Now the question is, for the drivers who hit back on lap 40, 41, even 42, are they going to have enough to go the full distance if we stay green this entire time?
That's a good question. See, normally we'd have a little bit more of like an estimate, but these guys are running 65% fuel, right?
Yeah, so 65, they're not running the full, I think, 18-gallon fuel tank. They're running 60% of that. As, Bogue slides up the track. He's going to get into Reagan. He's got Cody to his inside. They're 3 wide. That's going to be tight. You can count Bogue as the leader this time by. They're still 3 wide. As finally Reagan says, I'm going to get out of the way. And nope, crossover time. Here comes Reagan to the inside. This battle is intense with old tires. Now they're almost 4 wide.
Oh, boy.
Cody has fresh tires. I'm sure he's just frustrated saying, guys, get out of my way. I'm faster than you. They're 3 wide yet again. Oh, this is wild. For the lead, here comes Reagan to the inside. Bogue has it. Cody finally gets around the leaders. He should be able to check out now. This is intense.
Yeah, this is a wild.
Oh, they're both pitting.
There we go.
Drag race to pit stalls. Now, don't forget, Reese Bogue
50
started
laps
on the pole.
in.
So Bogue is going to have the first pit stall. Reagan is going to have the 4th pit stall because he started P4. So here's Reagan into his box. There's Bogue into his. As well as Cox right there. 56 was able to get the right sides on first. So the 56 might beat the 4 out. Drag race at the line, and they're still side by side, Joe.
Yep.
Pit stops, on track, doesn't matter.
No rest.
They're still going to fight. New leader, Jason Shu, hoping to have a better run than he had last night in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Ryan Newman in the chat, loving this fight between these two teammates. Zachary Cox heads back down pit road. He might have gotten a penalty. So Jason Shu was the leader. He'll give that one up to Ryan Shelton. Shu has yet to pit. Now here comes Shu down pit road. But hey, Joe, guess what? They're still fighting for 3rd.
Yeah.
Lots of other great battles on the track right now. As these 3, you can fit them all under a blanket. Martin Plute, Chris Darling, Evan Williams, and Ethan Amberg. Plute trying to drive away from this mess. From the distance, looking back on the bumper of Plute, his teammate Chris Darling trying to hold off both Amberg and Williams.
Oh, looks like Bogue finally made the pad. Never mind.
We got ourselves another fight for position. Bogue does get around the 56 of Reagan for now.
For now.
Ryan Shelton and Nicholas Cody are your leaders. They're about 1.5 seconds ahead of these two. We'll pick up the leaders now. Here comes Shelton.
They are,
1.6
however,
seconds ahead.
They are catching up. Or at least Bogue is.
Let's see. This time by is at 3.6 seconds behind the leader. Shelton is driving away a bit from Cody. As some more connection issues are starting to bother Shelton again. Here comes Cody. We'll compare Cody's lap times with Shelton's. That time by Cody was still a little bit faster by about 15 one-thousandths of a second.
Was that like a tenth of a sneeze?
Yeah, something like that. A little bit further back, we've got another great battle between Amberg and Darling. Amberg has the spot. Chris Darling wants it. And he was able to get around Chris pretty easily. We'll take a look at that one on replay. As Amberg had the bottom line, is able to just stick a nose right there. Slide up and then get a good drive off the corner. That's how they were able to get around each other.
Yep. There's a little bit of a battle going back and forth between 10 and 11. I'm assuming points for top 10.
Definitely. I mean, everyone is going to wind up getting some spots here, or some points here rather, but really no big changes of like stage points or anything like that here on ovals. When they do race on the road courses, there are stage points, stage cautions, and all that kind of stuff. So there is Garrett Austin in the Gold Octopus machine. Make sure you check out the Gold Octopus on Etsy. They have so many fantastic gifts. Literally, if you know somebody and you want to give them a gift, the Gold Octopus has something for them. Flat out. It is such a cool shop. I was looking at it earlier today, and man, they've got some really, really cool things on their Etsy page.
Yeah, I may be shopping later. Also, Ryan Newman in the chat says, I'm shocked it's gone green flag for this long. Me too. Honestly, me too.
Well, and especially with the way these two drivers have been fighting all night. That's the 04 of Bogue and Richard Reagan. I'm shocked they haven't wrecked each other at all. Because these battles have been quite intense. But now everyone kind of keeping themselves apart. A good battle showing up right now, or at least was showing up, was between Darling and Williams. Darling able to drive away a little bit. And a tough break for this man right here, Zachary Cox. He was running P3. Oh, drove in real deep there that time into the wall. And I don't know if he just ran out of gas. I don't know if he had a penalty because he had pitted with the leaders with Bogue and Reagan, but at the same time had to come back down the next time. So he might have gotten nabbed for speeding. And now he's 2 laps down in 17th place. Meanwhile, out front, Ryan Shelton is still the leader. About a 2-second gap between he and Nicholas Cody.
Yep.
As Shelton has some more connection issues. There's the gap. That little tiny speck in front of the screen. That's the 97 of Shelton.
Isn't that wild that that's 2 seconds?
Right. And take a listen to Cody here as he goes through the corner. Nice and easy. Really trying to save as much tire as he can. Doesn't want to spin anything up. And so here comes Bogue. Bogue sneaks into the picture. And we'll move Reese Bogue up to P2. Not so fast, says Cody. Cody's going to dive to the inside. In the chat, Canine Burnout says, wait, there's an Xfinity Series? Yep, there is. This is the Speed Xfinity Series presented by the Gold Octopus. As we now have hit 25 laps to go.
This is gonna be a close one at the end. Bogue is catching up lap by lap. Cody's not letting him off that easy, and Reagan's right behind them.
Well, let's take a look here between Bogue and Shelton. Let's see who has the faster lap coming across the line this time. Looked like Bogue was about, we'll call it 0.02 of a second faster that time. And look who's back in the picture. It's the 56 of Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
We may just have another epic fight for these last 25 laps. As Reagan is sitting there saying, hey, not so fast there, Reese. But they still have to contend with this guy, the 97 of Ryan Shelton. Shelton, driver based out of South Carolina. Still a couple of connection problems there as he gets around the 39 of Stanhausen.
Only about 1.3 seconds behind now. Hopefully Sheldon's not too comfortable.
And that gap is quickly closing. As we take a look at the scoring bug on the top of your screen, you'll see where your favorite driver is and what type of vehicle they are driving. Zach Williams down on pit road as well. Ace House saying we're going to see a good finish here. That is for sure. And Ryan Newman says my money is absolutely on Bogue tonight. And he's been fast. Had some great moves to get around Reagan. And now that gap, oh, just down to about a second.
Mm-hmm.
That is the gap, but he's got a very angry Richard Reagan just on his tail. Reagan could come up here and get in the way of this Bogue battle.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got a great battle here for a second.
And they have broken the second mark.
So this battle right now at the moment taking place about 0.8 behind Shelton.
This lines up the way I think it's going to line up. We're going to have a battle around lap 12 that is going to be interesting.
That could be quite a fight. There's your gap between the leader, second and third. Only one pit stop made for all of these drivers. And this right here could be the tail of the tape. Shelton pitted on lap 41.
Mm-hmm.
Bogue and Reagan both pit on lap 49. 8 lap fresher tires between the drivers in second and third. However, those two seem to be attached at the hip. So they're going to be a little bit slower because they're busy fighting with each other. And that could allow Shelton to drive away. But with those 8 lap fresher tires, that could just kind of cancel everything out because you're going to be a little bit slower. Also, not to mention, 45 laps was halfway.
Yeah.
So this time Shelton would have to do a 49 lap run. We've seen it be done. So I don't think Shelton is in that much trouble fuel wise, because the entire time Bogue and Reagan were not really saving fuel. They were fighting the entire first half of the race, even heading down onto pit road.
Yeah.
So I can't see fuel mileage really being a huge factor. But
yeah,
that
I'm
being
not sure.
said, tires could also make the deal.
Yeah, I wonder if Shelton is kind of buying his time right now, trying to just save his gas, knowing that he's going to have to fight for it those last few laps.
I think he very much is. But that being said, here comes Bogue. Bogue has cut that gap now down to about 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, looks like his fuel saving time's up.
This is the battle for the lead. Oh, looks like Reagan got a little sideways. He's going to fall back a tiny bit. Again, as a bit of a reminder, last time these drivers were out on pit road, as we ride on board now with Ryan Shelton, we'll take a look from behind his car, as some connection issues could be happening now. Here comes Bogue taking a peek to the inside. Reese Bogue hot on the back bumper of Shelton, and Joe, like you said, 12 to go. Here they are. I think another wrench that could be thrown into this fight is the fact that the 97's been having some connection issues. You know, if I'm Bogue, I'm a little nervous that, oh no, he might blink out when I'm there and then reappear inside my car.
Yeah.
Here comes Bogue to the inside. Reese Bogue side by side. We're going to have a drag race for the lead. They touch. 11 laps remain. This is going to get exciting. More contact here as Bogue gets out of sorts. They're still battling it out. And now Reagan says, I'm going to give a little bit of an air push, a little draft to the 97. But here's Bogue to the inside. Is Shelton going to try to double back and do a crossover move? He's going to attempt, but not quite able to get there. 10 to go. Shelton to the inside. Going to try to roll the bottom. Can't quite get there, but he's on the bumper of Bogue. Bogue gripping the wheel extra tight as they come down the back straightaway. Here comes Shelton. Not able to get anything going there, and Reagan along for the ride as well. Shelton starting to fall back just a hair. The 8-lap older tires than the drivers in first and third. But the way he's driving it, it does not matter. 8.5 laps remain. Reese Bogue has the position. Ryan Shelton there in second in the 97. Richard Reagan there in third. Another bit of a connection problem for the 97. As he's going to try the high side this time. Bogue has the spot still. Don't count out Nicholas Cody quite yet either. He is 2.8 seconds back. But should something wild happen to these three, Cody's going to pounce. 7 to go at the line. And oh, trouble! Trouble. Caution out on the Speedway. Getting word that Evan Williams had a problem And this is where it gets interesting. We'll take a look here at what happened to Williams. Williams goes down to the inside. Slides up the track, gets into the 19 just a little bit. And a little bit of a half spin.
Looks like we're pitting.
And we'll jump back to live action here as the leaders head down pit road. This
really get some fresh tires to
this is definitely
up the last
going to be the money stop here as all three drivers pull into their pit boxes.
So for everybody watching on YouTube, there is a poll going for who do you think is going to win. So feel free to vote and see if you are correct.
So Shelton, the first off of pit road. Then goes Bogue and the rest of the crew. We'll take a look to see what happened there. 14.5 versus a 15-second pit stop. So Shelton now has a bit of an advantage. Shelton to the point, he's going to be the one to control the restart. Reese Bogue in P2. Richard Reagan in third. Martin Plute moves up to fourth. And 5 laps to go. We might get an early pre-overtime restart.
What's interesting now is it went from a 3-man race to it could be anybody's ball game.
Yeah, from 3 drivers to, just about 10 or so.
Yeah.
Don't forget, tonight's race is brought to you by the Gold Octopus. You check them out on Etsy. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter as well. We'll check in with Garrett Austin. He's currently running in 10th spot, having himself a pretty good night. A quiet night. But usually those quiet nights are good nights. So the lights getting ready to be turned off on the pace car. The cars who decided to stay out will get the wave around. And it looks like Shelton is going to choose to take the high line for the restart.
That's interesting because Bogue has been taking that low line all night. I don't know if I would have given him the low.
I feel like, though, the inside line tends to have a little bit less grip, especially on the initial start and restarts. So I think Shelton is thinking, all right, if I get up top, if I have a good restart, I'm going to have a little bit more rubber in my lane. And maybe the 4 is going to spin his tires. But we'll see. 4 laps remaining. Green flag is out. And here comes the field down into turn number 1. Shelton has the spot. Here comes Bogue taking a peek to the inside. Martin Plute on the outside. He's running the top line. Plute side by side with Reagan. And huge crash. That's the 9 of Nicholas Cody. And a number of other cars are involved. Ooh. Stephen Kirby in there too.
Yeah, Pepsi just wants that shout out.
And that is a very, very broken race car. The right front isn't even on the ground anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take a look at that.
That was a hard hit.
Let's see what caused the yellow. As, man, it looked like the 9 didn't quite clear the 109. That was a very, very tough break. We'll take one more look at it, this time from the onboard of the 109 of Kirby. Here we are driving into turn number 1. And there's Cody there. And oh, just a little tiny bit of a tap. And that is going to be night over for all involved, unfortunately. And a very tough break because both Cody and Kirby were having great nights.
Yeah.
So our second yellow of the night, 3 laps to go. And, you know, it's one of those things where you almost expect something like that to happen because only a couple of laps left. You've been fighting all race long. You want to try to pick up you want to try to pick up as many spots as you can.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of 2 guys going for the real estate with only room for 1.
So for our poll, we've got 50% on Reese Bogue, 25% on Shelton, and 25% on Reagan.
Oh, okay. So we're having a good battle even in the polls between those top 3. But one driver who could play spoiler is that guy right there, the 81 of Martin Plute.
Mm-hmm.
And Plute, just like last week, very quiet race. And he shows up at the end seemingly out of nowhere.
Right place, right time.
That is for sure. One heck of a race car driver as well. So definitely not discounting Plute at all. And that's, you know, sometimes that's the best strategy. You just kind of sit back, wait for something to happen, jump when it's, you know, when it's the opportune time. And
yeah,
it works
absolutely.
out. Looks like the pace car lights are going to be turning off this time. So we are heading into overtime. Green,
So for
white,
those
checkered.
who don't watch too much, what does overtime entail?
So it's going to be a green, white, checkered, and all kind of varies from league to league. Some leagues have unlimited overtimes. Some have a limited number of overtimes. The only time we had an overtime situation so far here was at Daytona, when unfortunately there was no overtime instated, so it was a race finished under caution. But we shall see how this one looks for us. As the pace car is off, we are going to have overtime here at New Hampshire. The crowd on their feet, getting ready to watch these drivers go. Green flag in the air. Good start this time from Bogue. Here comes Bogue driving it down deep into the corner. Everyone
we
else
are not
minding
going to
their
go
P's
4
and
wide.
Q's, trying to look 3 wide. Can't quite get it done. Here's Bogue on the inside. Reese Bogue has the spot heading down into turn number 3. Shelton tries to battle back. Oh, he gets a little tap into the wall. Here comes Reagan and Plute. 3 wide, white flag in the air. One more lap to go. Who's going to win it? Here comes Bogue down to the inside. Reagan on the outside trying to get a move done. Sideways goes the 97. We're going to keep it here with the leaders. Big wreck behind.
Yeah, Plute lost it too.
And now it's going to come down to this. Reese Bogue out of turn number 4. Is Reagan going to have the advantage? No. Reese Bogue is going to win at New Hampshire as he gets a little tap across the line.
What a finish.
Wow.
And Darling ends 3rd.
Wow. We are going to have to see all that happened because Joe, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Let's first take a look at what happened in the 97 of Shelton. So Shelton drove in. He looks like he caught a little bit of Amberg, and then caught a little bump there from the 11 of Chris Darling. He slides up, and Evan Williams gets into him. And then it looked like Zach Williams might have had an issue potentially as well, as he came across the nose of Jason Shue. At the same time, Martin Plute had an issue. Plute, oh, little too much gas out of the corner. He's going to go off towards the infield road course. Gets a little bit of air. That's going to kick him sideways. Wow, what an absolute finish. What a fight for all of these drivers. Amberg had an incident there too.
Oh, man.
A lot happened. Here they are coming out of turn number 4. Amberg, just a little too much gas. He goes around. Right in the middle of the track. Oh, Shue gets into him. Wow. That was impressive. But there's Reese Bogue, our winner. We are going to talk to him in just a couple of moments, as we're going to try to get our top 3 drivers into the broadcast waiting room. Looks like Darling and Bogue are in there. Try to move Richard Reagan in there as well. But this has been such an incredible race. And Joe, I believe you've caught up with our 3rd place finisher, Chris Darling.
Hey, Chris, fantastic race tonight. You were quiet most of the time, and you end up in 3rd.
Yeah, I could not figure that track out, man. It was that was tough.
Did you have a game plan going in, or were you just kind of figuring it out with everybody else?
Well, I knew track position would be important. So I was planning on qualifying well, but I messed up my qualifying lap, and then once I got behind, it was super hard to pass there. It was almost like a F1 DRS train. I mean, you just couldn't figure out how to get around guys. So, yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of mulling around in like 8th to 10th place, and kind of just snuck out with one there. Had a little contact with the 97 at the end. Don't feel great about that, but I'm not sure. I don't know if he got out of shape or what, but once we made contact, I just kind of kept going. It was not my greatest moment, but I wanted a good finish. So
Yeah, no, I hear you. It was a great finish. I know he was having some connection issues on and off, so it was a little rough for everyone around him. But great showing tonight. You have anybody you want to shout out?
yeah, I want to thank you guys. I've been doing a great job all season on the broadcasts. Definitely Garrett, the whole crew at Gold Octopus, all the other sponsors that sponsor the league. Really appreciate them, and just looking forward to the rest of the season.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and good luck next week.
Thanks.
All right, that was our 3rd place finisher for tonight's race, Chris Darling. And now we are going to join with our 2nd place finisher, driver of the number 56 machine, Richard Reagan. And well, Richard, congratulations on the 2nd place finish. It seemed like you and Reese were pretty much attached at the hip for the entire race. Talk to us first about that battle between the two of you guys heading onto pit road. It even continued.
Yeah, no, me and Reese know each other pretty good. I'm his real life spotter, crew chief, on the rail side of stuff. So, we kind of know what we're gonna do all the time. Like I know what he's gonna do to me, and I know what he's gonna do, to me. So, or what I'm gonna do to him, whatever. What he knows. Anyway, no. So I realized that we only had 1.8 laps of fuel left, going down the backstretch. I'm like, Reese, I'm pitting this time, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna try to come down with you. And I'm like, well, you're still on my outside, but I'll give you room. So I gave him room, and we both came down. So I was more worried just trying to get one of us to win. He was pretty fast tonight, so congrats to him. I don't know what iRacing changed with this car on this build, but it's absolutely terrible. But still a fun race with Reese.
And you know, you'd mentioned is it something setup wise? I saw a couple people in the chat earlier saying that like the front end just felt almost broken. Was that something you were experiencing?
Yeah, that's what I was experiencing, but they put the right setup in, the one that iRacing updated, but I know iRacing adjusted some geometry stuff in the front end of the car, and it was just terrible. I mean, in a fixed series, I mean, it's not the league's fault. I'm not bashing the league. I'm just saying in a fixed series, there's no reason iRacing should release a setup where when you go into the corner, it slams the nose down 2 feet into the ground. And it was doing that all night, and it's honestly kind of sad that this is what we still get in 2024. But
Yeah, definitely a tough break there. But you guys, despite any of the setup issues, really put on one heck of a battle pretty much the entire night. Richard, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs, so let's hear them.
yeah, for sure. And just one quick side note, I think that's why it was so hard to pass tonight too, is because, like I said, the car would just bottom out when you're underneath somebody. But yeah, I would like to give a shout out to the Regenboog Motorsports boys, the Golden Octopus boys. Congrats to Reese on getting a win, finally beating me. Multiple Sclerosis Society, Susan G. Komen, JC Photography, Neonism Paints, Stant Analyzer, Mission 22, everybody that puts on the league, and you guys that do the broadcast.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Richard. Much appreciated. Congrats on the P2 finish, and we're looking forward to seeing you out there next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
All right, that was our second place finisher. And Joe, you've made your way down to victory lane, and let's get you chatting there with our winner tonight, Reese Bogue.
Hey, Reese, congratulations on the huge finish. What was your mindset going into this race? Did you have a game plan for it?
Man, honestly, not really. Me and Rich, I don't know if you heard about my other interviews, I guess, with you guys. We've known each other for a couple years. That's kind of our NASCAR home track, and I've won legend car races there on the road course. So run a race on the big oval too and late model. So I wasn't sure. I kind of knew what to expect just a little bit. Some of it correlates from real life, some of it doesn't exactly, but it was a good race. Had a lot of adversity there. With getting caught up in a lap car, and then those yellows at the end. It was all building. I was kind of getting frustrated. I was just trying to take it as it went, and ended up coming out of there with the win, which I'm really happy for.
Yeah, as you were saying, it was a hard race all night for you, especially with Reagan. What were you guys just having fun out there? Were you racing hard? What was your mindset?
Yeah, so every time I race with Rich, he's always real good with saving tires, but somehow being fast. So I was kind of trying to pace myself off of that, and then towards the end of the first run, I felt like I was a little bit better than him. I was able to just save a little more and turn to the bottom and kind of roll where I needed to. So being able to do that kind of opened up my, I guess, my view and plan what I could do later. I knew I could go a little bit harder and stuff a little more. So once we got out of pit road there, I was able to take off and get by him. I was kind of figuring it was going to be a pretty good race to the end. I said I knew he's good, but just battling with him and Ryan and all those guys, that was a lot of fun as well.
Awesome. And what was towards the end there, before the plethora of yellows we had, was gas and tire an issue going in for you guys?
I wouldn't say as far as fuel goes. I looked at it before we started, and we had like about 10 laps to the good at the end there, because it would have been it's kind of like a split 50-50, I guess. We had 50 laps of fuel, and that's why I just ran that fuel empty in the first one, and then I knew we had enough for the second one, so ended up doing that. Fuel wasn't a concern. Tires maybe a little bit, but I kind of felt like once we got going there, all spread out. It was kind of going to be between me, Ryan, and Rich, and don't remember. Nick Cody over there. It was kind of going to be between us and who had the best tire wear and who was able to manage that throughout the long run.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. And do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my Coney Seb shop, the Gold Octopus guys, my parents who are watching this tonight, and Regan Bug Motorsports, the little side deal to the Gold Octopus.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and good luck next weekend.
Yep, thank you guys. Have a good one.
All right, that was our post-race interviews for tonight's race. Tonight's race is brought to you by our friends at the Gold Octopus, and make sure you check them out on Etsy. Huge selection of home goods, handmade decorations, from custom paintings, terrariums, macrame planters, and you can check them out Instagram and Twitter, and it's literally the perfect gift for everyone in your life. If you know someone, they're gonna love what they've got there at the Gold Octopus, so make sure you check them out. We're going to take a look into next week's race, and it's going to be at Rockingham. The Rock, high bank, 1 mile track, going to be a ton of good close racing like we saw here tonight, and we'll likely see a couple extra crashes as well. So Joe, I think that is going to be a fantastic race next week, Tuesday night, right here, 9 o'clock on the Tabletop Trio family of networks.
Oh, I'm excited.
But before we go, let's take a look at the results for tonight's race, the Gold Octopus 90 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And our winner is the number 04 of Reese Bogue. Richard Reagan in second. Chris Darling comes home third. Garrett Austin of the Gold Octopus comes home in fourth. Stan Hausman in fifth. Zachary Cox able to bounce back from being 2 laps down in pretty much last place, able to finish in sixth. Martin Plute finishes seventh. Evan Williams in eighth. Tim Branson ninth. Ethan Amberg in 10th. Jason Shue comes home 11th, and Scott Leonard in 12th. Ryan Shelton and Stephen Kirby, both cars were 1 lap down. Zach Williams 4 down. Nicholas Cody finishes 6 down, and Cedarius Diaz has a couple of issues throughout the night, finishes in P17. Like I mentioned, next week's race going to be at Rockingham Speedway. And as far as the next event here for Tabletop Trio, we're going to be live with the podcast tomorrow night, right around 8 o'clock Eastern, doing a preview of Saucetoberfest in Flemington, New Jersey. So make sure you check that out wherever you find podcasts, as well as live here on Twitch and YouTube. So for one final time, I'm Bob Giaquinto.
I'm Joe Annunziata.
And this has been the Speed Xfinity Series presented by the Gold Octopus. Have a great night.